Please take a moment to increase the brightness on your device for optimal viewing. Hey folks, welcome to the Sketchy Friendler, where every day I talk to you and I tell you a story to go along with it. Today, I'm going to tell you about my experience at the notorious Cockatoo Island. So anyway, before I really get going here, just to let you know, I do start out with this blue pencil before I commit to my graphite pencil. So bear with me here. It'll be very short, I promise you. Also, if this is too dark for you, then just crank the brightness all the way up on your viewing device. And if you're on your cell phone and it's too small, I would advise you to turn your cell phone horizontal so the image will fill up and become larger. And with that, let's do this. So, I don't know if I've really mentioned this, but I've always been a huge Ausophile, or a fan of Australia. And in 2014, I was finally able to visit, and I stayed in Sydney, and I went to a lot of the different places in Sydney, and one of those places was an island in Sydney Harbor, and it's called Cockatoo Island. And for you folks in the States, or probably most of you in the world are aware of, in the United States, we have a place in San Francisco where I'm from that's called Alcatraz, and that's a famous island that was also a prison. And it was notorious. All the baddest of the bad went there for a time. But Australia sort of has their version of it, which is called Cockatoo Island. It is an island in Sydney Harbor. And it got me to wondering, because I know Australia originally started out as a penal colony. So if you've got like a really bad, like a prison in a penal colony, these guys must have been, they were staying there, must have been some pretty bad dudes. But anyway, it's no longer a prison island. It went through many different stages. I think it was like a naval shipyard at some point. It might have been some type of some sort of institution for a time. But yeah, now it's like a national park where you can visit. You take a ferry out to this island, and you can I mean, there may be like official tours and stuff there, but when I went, it was, I just went there on my own. There wasn't any tour guide or rangers to really show me around. But I went like later on in the day, and I recall it was in the afternoon. I got there late afternoon, and I just took the ferry. I think maybe that it might have been the same day that I went to Taronga Zoo, and then I just still had some more time to go because I was going to meet my cousin in Sydney, downtown. And so I said, hey, there's this place, Cockatoo Island, sounds kind of interesting. Check it out, see what it's all about. And so I took the ferry out to this place, and it was, very reminiscent of Alcatraz. It's like, the old buildings that used to house the prisoners are there, and they're all in various states of disrepair. Some of them are still being used for other, like, more, I'm not sure. I think there's some tourist stuff you can do there, but a lot of it's just kind of closed off. You can kind of walk through the area, but you can't really go in because it's all old and probably don't want you climbing around or walking around in these old structures. Um, but what I do remember was, I'm just going by memory. Like it was like there was this dock that you landed on, and then you go through this gate or this kind of like brick structure that leads you into the island, and then there's just you walk up. There's like a path, and it goes up this hill where all the like former prison buildings were. And again, this is all just going off of memory. I'm not really looking at anything in particular, but just remember this was 2014. So at that point, I didn't have long hair. I've had long hair 2 times. I had it in high school, and then I think starting in like 2014 or 15, maybe I started growing it out again. But I spent like from my 20s all the way to my 40s with really short hair. So I wore a lot of hats and stuff. But anyway, so yeah, it was really cool. I wandered around. There was a few people. It was later on in the afternoon, so it wasn't like totally packed. And I think it may have been on a weekday. And I just went around and walked through the areas where all the structures were, and it was, since there wasn't that many people there, it was a little, kind of eerie, kind of spooky. But it was daytime. It just was it was very quiet. It's not a lot going on there. It's not like it's an old prison. There's nothing much going on anymore. And I just wandered around there. Some really cool buildings, and I was taking pictures, and I kind of let the day get away from me. And I realized it was the sun was kind of going down, and the shadows started getting longer, and it did start getting a little bit more spooky. It was getting to be sunset, and I was all the way up at the top of this where all the structures were, and I ended up realizing, I had to get, not only did I have to, get down the hill, I had to be in downtown Sydney to meet up with my cousin and her boyfriend. And I realized that, I'd been walking around for quite some time at this point. And it was getting dark. And sun started going down. And then I realized, the ferries, they end at a certain time too. So I really had to get down. So I'm starting to pick up the pace, and I realized, before there was a few other people, I'm looking around and there is nobody around. I am the only person up on the top here, on this ruins of a prison. It's not like a place where people live. Maybe there's places where the rangers stay, but there's really nothing going on there, and it's getting dark. The sun is really starting to go down at this point, and it's completely quiet, and I don't see anybody. And I'm like, at this point, I'm like almost running because I don't know like how much time I have before the last ferry departs, because it's not like there's a whole bunch of ferries coming in and out of there all the time. This is like definitely a special destination that not everybody goes to. And it's not like a zoo or an amusement park where there's like constantly people going. So I end up running down. It's getting dark. Like now it's really getting dark. I can barely see. And I'm really scared. I'll be honest with you. I'm getting scared. I'm getting scared for two reasons. One, I don't know if I'm going to be stuck on this island all night. And then two, it's like a creepy place that used to be a prison. And what, you can get stuck on some creepy prison island at nighttime? That's seems like kind of like the premise for some bad horror movie, if you ask me. So I'm like jogging down, and I finally make it to the bottom of the island and get to where the dock is, just in time for me to see the very last shuttle of the day, or the very last ferry of the day, pulling in. I barely made it. And I just think about like what would have happened if I had gotten stuck on that island all night. I mean, what happens? I mean, that must have happened to somebody at some point. I don't know. I don't like to think about it, actually. I did make it onto that ferry, and I was able to meet up with my cousin, so that was cool. But later on, I did some research because I didn't really know much about it. I just saw that was one of the places that you could take the ferry to in Sydney Harbor, down at Circular Quay. And I later read that it's like a lot of old prisons. If you believe in this type of stuff, it's supposed to be pretty haunted. And I definitely felt at times, like when I was by myself there, even during the day, like I was being watched. I just had this really kind of creepy, like hair on the back of the neck feeling. Not cool. It would have been cool to end up staying there overnight, I don't think. I don't know if I would have survived. So that is one of my Australia stories. But, if you ever are in Sydney and you haven't been, you should, you're thinking of things to do. You've already been to Bondi Beach and Manly Beach. You should check out Cockatoo Island. It is definitely an experience, especially if you like old places and kind of into that urban exploration type thing. Like I like watching those videos online. But yeah, Cockatoo Island. Check it out if you're ever in Sydney. I am on YouTube and Facebook. I'm also on Instagram, where you can check out all my finished drawings. And then on TikTok, we started to really push in on that this week. So if you have a interest, you can watch. I do different videos on TikTok. They're shorter. They're much shorter and faster because they're like sped up. They're kind of time lapse drawings. But It's pretty cool. You should check it out. I'm on all 4 platforms. I also have on the AMC Princess Anna store, we've got merch. So check out the Friendly Sketcher or Sketchy Friendler collection. And that's what I got for you today. I hope to see you guys soon. Thank you so much, and I'll see you next time. Take it easy. Bye.